You are accommodating. You are agreeable. You have learned the lessons of modern empathy. When she asks for your time, your energy, your compliance, you give it. You believe this is the path to respect, to trust, to being seen as a good man. And yet, you feel it. The slow, corrosive leak of your own authority. The creeping sense that you are becoming a utility, a reliable appliance, not a sovereign consciousness. Your compliance is met not with deepening intimacy, but with a subtle, unspoken boredom. Your yes has become predictable, and predictability, in the deeper registers of the psyche, is indistinguishable from servitude. You are frustrated because your strategy is failing. You have been told that agreement is strength, that conflict is to be avoided at all costs. But the ancient circuits within her, circuits far older than political correctness or modern etiquette, are interpreting your lack of boundaries not as kindness, but as a fundamental lack of substance. You have made yourself frictionless, and in doing so, you have made yourself invisible. The pain is getting worse because the modern world actively penalizes the masculine capacity for no. It labels it as toxic, as inflexible, as a failure to collaborate. So you suppress that instinct. You soften your edges. And in that softening, you dissolve the very architecture of respect. In this video, we will dissect the secret mechanism behind this phenomenon. We will move beyond the superficial narratives of control and ego and descend into the biological and archetypal substrates where true respect is forged or lost. This is not about manipulation. This is about the irrevocable laws of attraction and hierarchy that govern the human animal. To understand the power of no, we must first strip away the fairy tale. We are not souls floating in the ether. We are organisms, the end product of an unbroken chain of survival and reproduction stretching back to the primordial mud. Every significant instinct is there because it solved a deadly problem. For the majority of our evolutionary history, the world was a brutal selection chamber. The primary problem facing a female and her offspring was not emotional fulfillment in the modern sense. It was survival. It was the problem of resource scarcity and predatory threat, both from beasts and from other men. In this landscape, her ultimate imperative, her biological imperative, was to secure not just a mate, but a provider and a protector. Genetics are ruthless accountants. They do not care about feelings, they care about outcomes. The key question her deep instinct must answer is, can this man impose order on chaos? Your yes is cheap. Anyone can say yes. The sycophant, the slave, the opportunist, they all say yes. Yes requires no strength, no discernment, no internal fortitude. It is the word of the follower. But no is an act of territorial demarcation. It says, here is a boundary. Here is where my energy ends and yours begins. Here is a principle I will not violate, even for the sake of approval. To her ancient psyche, this signal is critical data. A man who cannot say no to her cannot be trusted to say no to a rival, to a threat, to the demands of a collapsing world. If his boundaries are malleable under the pressure of her displeasure, they are non-existent under the pressure of genuine danger. He is, in the most literal sense, structurally unsound. This is not conscious. It is archetypal. It operates at the level of the shadow self, the part of the psyche that recognizes power, hierarchy, and competence beyond language. When you say no, you are not merely refusing a request. You are demonstrating discernment. You are demonstrating that your resources, time, energy, attention, commitment, are finite and valuable, and that you are the steward of their allocation. You are showing that you answer to a higher internal code than the fleeting whim of external approval. This is the raw, survival-level truth beneath the romance. Respect is the psychological offspring of perceived competence. And the foundational competence is the capacity for integrated, principled aggression, the ability to say no, to stand against, to be the immovable object when chaos comes calling. Your agreeable yes may grant you momentary peace, but it is your principled no that writes your name in the ledger of respect. And here we encounter the brutal irony of the modern condition. The very instinct that was selected for over millennia, The instinct to recognize and bind oneself to a man of boundaries and principled refusal is now systematically pathologized and disabled. We do not live on the savannah. We live in the abstract, symbolic marketplace. The threats are not lions or rival clans, but algorithms, corporate policies, and the court of public opinion. The primary resource is not meat or shelter, but attention and social capital. And into this arena, we have unleashed the most potent dopamine engine ever devised, the attention economy. This economy runs on compliance. It runs on the endless, desperate yes. Say yes to more work without more pay. Say yes to the shifting goalposts of social acceptability. Say yes to the curated fantasy of a dating app profile, swiping endlessly in a slot machine trance. The modern man is conditioned to be a high-functioning servant, agreeable, adaptable, and eternally available. His value is measured in his utility and his likability. This creates a devastating double bind. His ancient wiring pulls him toward establishing territory and demonstrating discernment through no. But the modern system punishes that very act. Refuse an unreasonable demand at work? You are not a team player. Hold a partner accountable? You are insecure or controlling. Maintain a boundary against the torrent of digital demands? You are antisocial. This is where dark psychology, often wielded not by individuals but by the system itself, comes into play. The mechanism is weaponized empathy. The language of therapy, compassion, and equity, a language with noble origins, is co-opted to enforce a new hierarchy. In this hierarchy, the highest virtue is infinite accommodation. The greatest sin is to cause friction, to be difficult, to say this far and no further. Thus, the man finds himself disarmed. His natural aggression, not the violence of the brute, but the focused, principled opposition that builds forts, nations, and character, is leached from him. He is taught that any no is a potential trauma to be soothed, not a legitimate statement of position to be negotiated. He confuses being good with being harmless. And the woman, caught in the same trap, feels a profound and confusing dissonance. Consciously, she may champion the agreeable, empathetic, compliant man. She has been told this is the evolved ideal. But her hypergamous instinct, that ancient, ruthless drive towards security and quality, scans her environment from the depths of her unconscious. It sees a landscape of polite, smiling men who lack the architectural strength of a backbone. It registers their constant yes, not as kindness, but as a void where a spine should be. The consequence is not attraction, but a vague, pervasive dissatisfaction. She is frustrated not in spite of his compliance, but because of it. She is, ironically, yearning for the very friction the modern trap, therefore, is a sickness of abundance creating a poverty of character. We have mistaken the absence of conflict for peace, and the absence of structure for freedom. We have made the world safe for the yes man, and in doing so, we have rendered him invisible, and worse, profoundly disrespected, not out of malice, but out of a deep, biological disappointment. So we arrive at the dark, unvarnished truth. The secret reason a woman respects a man who says no, even when it frustrates her, is because that no is a litmus test of reality. It is a momentary, voluntary crucifixion of harmony for the sake of truth. Your no declares that you are in dialogue with a deeper law than her mood or social convention, or your own fleeting desire for approval. You are answering to the objective world, to your own resources, your time, your energy, your purpose. You are demonstrating that you are a judge of value. And the capacity to judge, to discriminate, is the absolute bedrock of competence. This is the red pill, not of misogyny, but of sober responsibility. Respect is not given. It is compelled. It is compelled by the evidence of character. And character is forged in the moments where you choose what is right over what is easy, where you choose integrity over ingratiation. Her frustration in the moment is the price paid. Her respect afterward is the dividend earned. This is not a game. It is the ancient, unchangeable arithmetic of human hierarchy. How then, In this modern maze of weaponized empathy, do you navigate this? You must become a Stoic in a world of hysterics. The Stoic knows that his primary domain is his own judgment, his own action, his own virtue. Your no must therefore never be born of petulance, of wounded pride, of a desire to control. That is the shadow of the principle, the brittle ego masquerading as strength. The Stoic's no is born of discernment. It is a conscious, deliberate allocation of your sovereign resources. Before you speak, you must do the hard interior work. You must define your hierarchy of values. What is sacred to you? Your word? Your time for deep work? Your physical integrity? Your peace? You must know your borders so clearly that when you are pressured, you are not deciding in the moment. You are merely administrating a pre-existing law. Your no is not an emotional reaction. It is a judicial finding. It is, as Marcus Aurelius might have practiced, a quiet verdict delivered from the inner citadel. When you must say it clearly, calmly, and without apology. Do not embroider it with excessive justification, which is merely a disguised plea for forgiveness. State the boundary. State the principle if necessary. Then be silent. Let the truth of your position and your willingness to bear the temporary discord stand on its own. You are not causing chaos. You are revealing the existing architecture of your soul, which was always there, hidden beneath the plaster of compliance. In the end, this is not about women. It is about you. It is about becoming a man whose yes has weight because his no has gravity. A man who is not a reed bending to every social wind, but an oak defined by his own growth rings, each one a season of withstood pressure. The world does not need more agreeable men. It needs complete men. Men who are capable of kindness without cowardice and severity without cruelty. Men who understand that the highest form of respect you can offer another person is not your endless compliance, but your integrity. And integrity, by its very nature, must sometimes speak a word that cuts the air like stone. That word is no. And in its echo, your true shape is finally revealed.